Hi everyone, my name is Patricia and I'll be your host for GrowCast show today, episode 69. So today I have with me Mr. Hobart Lee. I'm very excited. Okay, so how are you, Hobart?
I'm very good, thank you.
Very good. So Hobart, I heard that you are actually a financial consultant and author of The Financial Machine. So since you're a published author, so can you share with me what motivates you to start a book?
I wrote a book because if you look at life, right, almost everything we do has to do with money, from whether you have food to eat, whether you have a house to stay, and so on. So in my own journey, when I was growing up, when I was trying to learn about how to manage money, when I talked to different people, some people, like those investors, they would say it's all about investing, what stocks to buy, when to buy, how to look at the charts, and so on. And when you talk to other groups of people like insurance agents, everything is about insurance. So when I thought about it, it really looked like a jigsaw puzzle that is scattered with no sense of what the whole looks like. But then when you put everything together, it looks like a financial machine. So which is why I called my book The Financial Machine. And everyone actually needs the whole machine to work well together as a whole in order to help us to navigate life financially.
Wow, that sounds super interesting. So could you also share with us, right, how does your financial advisory practice differ from others?
So when we look at financial planning, there are actually 6 areas of financial planning. And unfortunately, many people focus on one, maybe at most 2 areas of financial planning, when we need all 6 to successfully navigate our financial journey properly. So what I offer is a systematic process in which I take individuals through all 6 areas of financial machine. So when we look at financial planning, there are at least 6 areas of financial planning. And most people, unfortunately, focus on one, at most 2 areas of financial planning, which is unfortunately inadequate because we need all 6 areas to be catered to in order to deal with all the issues that we may encounter in life. Now, this is applicable to most people, but for a special group of people, business owners in particular, they have more than 6 areas of financial planning they have to look into. So what I offer is uniquely suited to cater to families and also business owners. And what I do is that I will bring all my clients systematically through all 6 areas, and for business owners, the additional areas of financial planning. So each plan that I craft is uniquely tailored to the individual circumstances of each client.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. So do you really think that Singaporeans need an insurance?
Okay, do we really need insurance? That's like asking if we really need to eat vegetables. And in fact, I think that's not quite the correct question to ask.
So what is the correct questions?
Over the course of my career, I have met many people who tell me that they have bought insurance already. So this actually reminds me of one particular incident I came across. So this lady actually told me that she and her husband had insurance already, which is good. But unfortunately, along the way, the husband developed cancer. And they tried to claim against the insurance, but they couldn't claim. Why? Because the husband's insurance didn't actually cover for cancer. And so that shows why it is the wrong question, because it is not about whether we have bought insurance, it is whether we have addressed the relevant risks that we face in life. So this lady, unfortunately, did not address certain risks. That's why when the time came, things became difficult. So what we need to ask ourselves is whether we have addressed the appropriate risks, and insurance is one such tool. But there are certain risks that insurance, in fact, does not adequately address. So in my financial planning process that I work with clients, I will work with them systematically through all 6 areas of financial planning to address the relevant risks, and so craft something that is holistic for them.
Wow, that's really, really very professional of you. And do seasoned investors need financial planning?
Of course, everyone needs financial planning. In fact, every seasoned and profitable investor that I know has gone through a process of meticulous planning and execution. And that's where we can see planning is very important. But the thing is that when we talk about investing, it is just one out of 6 areas of financial planning, and we need all 6 in order to navigate life properly. So let's say you are a successful investor. There are a few questions that still have to be addressed. For example, what if you meet an accident? Are you still going to be able to invest? How are you going to take care of the treatment expenses? And if you take a loan because you use leverage, how are you going to take care of that loan? Then there's also the question of retirement. Are you going to trade and invest until and after you retire? Or let's say your time on earth is coming to an end. What then for your investments? So as a seasoned investor, you don't need financial planning in the sense of the run-of-the-mill kind of financial planning. What you need is a specialized kind of financial planning that caters to your unique investing style and circumstances. And so, when clients approach me and they are seasoned investors, what I do for them is I tailor something that is specific for their kind of style and investing needs.
Wow, that sounds really good. I think these days people really like something very specialized and cater for themselves, yeah?
Okay, the number one trait. Let me first start by sharing 3 Ds that are very important when you come to the area of investing. So very often you will hear dollar cost averaging, discipline, and diversification. And all 3 are important when it comes to investing. So among these 3, which is the most important? None. None of these are the most important. In fact, the most important thing is to have a winning strategy in the first place, because there is no point in dollar cost averaging in a disciplined manner and diversifying at the same time when your strategy is a losing one. Because if your assets are all going to lose money, all this do not matter at all. So the most important thing is, of course, to have a winning strategy in the first place. What I offer my clients is an approach based on a Nobel-winning research that is practiced by big names in the industry, such as Ray Dalio. So even if you are a successful investor, you will benefit from such an approach, and that is what I offer to my clients.
Wow, that's fantastic. So I want to ask as well, how are the financial planning needs for entrepreneur different from employees?
Businesses are actually an extension of the business owner's personal finances. So unlike most people, where they have 6 areas of financial planning, business owners actually have more. That's because, of course, businesses are once again creating a sort of right pocket to their left pocket. So if a business needs capital, for example, it is common to see business owners injecting capital from their own personal finances. Conversely, if let's say their family encounters an emergency and they need money, it is very common to see business owners withholding or even withdrawing capital from their businesses to deal with their family emergencies. And so because their finances are joined at the hip, it is not ideal for them to plan separately for their personal side and their corporate side. So that's where I can offer them a one-stop solution to work on their personal and corporate finances holistically.
I see. So what are the personal benefits can business owner reap from good financial planning?
So businesses are, in fact, an extension of a business owner's personal finances. And in fact, very often it plays a very significant part in the whole. And so because of this unique circumstance that the business owner is in, he can actually reap various benefits, for example, tax benefits. So by arranging his expenses properly, he may save up to $1 for every $6 that he spends. He also has a unique access to certain financial planning tools that are not typically available to individuals who are not business owners. And so that can be used to his own and his own family's advantage. And then the advantage of a business is that it can actually be handed down to future generations, which then creates generational wealth. But then that also creates a need for succession planning in order for the business to continue to run into the future.
I see. Okay. So how does good financial planning help many businesses succeed and grow?
The whole realm of business involves testing a concept, and then if it works, to scale it up and then make money from there. So in the process of trying out different concepts, it is very often to eliminate losing concepts. But in the process of elimination, there is also a commitment of capital and a loss of capital. So wouldn't it be nice to have a stream of income to help you to replenish that lost capital? And also, in the process, of course, we need to talk about staff retention, because if you want to grow your business, it is important to have good staff. So we need to think about how we can retain staff by taking care of them, taking care of their families, so that they remain loyal to the company and to help your business grow into the future. And then it's also important to insulate against unforeseen circumstances, because sometimes bad things do happen, right? So that can lead to substantial losses in terms of capital. You could lose significant amounts of money, let's say with disruption of business, with fire destroying your goods, for example. So it's important to safeguard against all these unfortunate circumstances. And with that, then your business can successfully grow.
Wow. I guess from the sound of it, good financial planning is indeed really important. So that is great. And with that, right, that's the end of part 1, and we'll back for part 2 real soon. Welcome back to part 2, and let's get started. Okay, so Hobart, what are the key financial planning risks business owners should mitigate against?
Okay. So business owners, of course, face many risks, and they need to mitigate all these risks in order to run their businesses successfully. Some of these risks include risks specific to their kind of business and their kind of industry. Then there's also continuity risks, succession risks. So business owners need to address all these risks in order for them to succeed in their businesses, because all these downsides can actually cause their businesses to fail.
I see. Okay. So why should business owner works with you when they can obtain advices from their relationship managers or even general insurance agents?
So business owners should work with me because I offer them a one-stop solution to all their financial planning needs. So there are 6 areas of financial planning, and business owners have more. So what I offer them is something holistic across their personal and corporate financial planning needs. And this includes things like corporate insurance, investments, estate planning, retirement planning, and so on. So rather than having to work with many different advisors, because their time is very precious and very limited, having a one-stop solution to deal with all these issues will be something very beneficial to them.
I like the idea of one-stop solutions, yeah. So what are the key areas of financial planning that parents with newborns should actually look into?
Parents with newborns typically will look into, of course, their health of their children and also the education needs of their children. But this alone is not sufficient, because as a family, their fates are actually tied together. So if something happens to the parent, or if something happens to a sibling, everyone in the family will suffer. For example, let's say in a family, the father got a stroke. He is therefore unable to work, unable to bring in an income. But the thing is that because the father requires constant medical attention, he becomes having certain financial needs as well on top of the expenses of the children. So it becomes the whole family is affected. The future prospects of the children are affected because expenses are going towards supporting the father. So when we plan for families with children, we need to plan holistically.
I see. So in your experience, right, so what would you advise? When should parents actually start financial planning for their newborns?
Okay. So that should be yesterday. Yeah. Why yesterday? Because today is too late. If you look at financial planning, one of the important areas to consider is that idea of compounding. And compounding works best with a longer runway. The longer your runway is, the more your money can compound. So if you could start yesterday, that would be the best. But if not, then start today.
Yeah, the word is now, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So, how do I balance the huge financial demands of raising children against my own future retirement needs and life aspirations?
Yeah. So that's one of the challenges that I see many parents face, including people like myself with 3 children. So we do have many financial needs, right? We want to send our kids for enrichment. We want to plan for their future education. We want to retire well ourselves. We want to maybe let them experience life by traveling the world. But all this taps on the same pool of limited financial resources that we have as parents. So how do we deal with all these different needs? We need to sit down and plan properly. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to use the power of compounding to work for us, because by compounding our money, that's where we have more financial resources to meet our future needs while we meet our present needs as well.
Nice. Okay. So, what are the 3 important traits to look for in an advisor who will assist you with family financial planning?
When you look for an advisor, it's very important that he's, of course, number 1, skillful and knowledgeable. He needs to know what financial planning is about. But not just that, he needs to be able to put himself in your shoes as a parent. Because as a parent, you do have a unique set of circumstances, a unique set of challenges. And that includes things like having your financial resources stretched in many directions. So you need to have someone who is able to plan from your perspective in the way that you want it. And of course, I believe what's the most important is that the financial planner is actually someone who will plan in your best interests.
Wow, I feel that's super important for the financial advisors to actually think in our shoes, like what we are going through, right? And so what is interstate succession and how does it affect my family?
Yeah. So intestate succession is actually a situation in which the individual passes away without leaving a valid legal document on how his assets are supposed to be distributed. So, for example, a will. So in that case, his assets will be distributed according to what we call intestate succession laws. So which means that there is a certain legal default in which their assets will be distributed. Now, this actually poses a problem. So for example, let's say you have a married couple, and let's say the husband is older than the wife, and both of them pass away in a plane crash, what we call a common disaster. So what happens in this case? Where will the assets go? Now, for most of us who may not have encountered this idea of intestate succession, we may think that the money actually is going to go to the remaining members of both individuals' families in equal proportion. But that is not the case. So as we said, in this case, the husband is older, the wife is younger. The wife's family will in fact get everything. And this is going to create some problems down the road. Or if, let's say, we talk about a family with children, if both parents pass away in a plane crash, then who is going to take care of the children? That becomes another big problem. So we need to look at estate planning properly when we look at planning for families with children or even married couples.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing with all your hearts, Hobart. I'm sure all of us here learned so much from you. And I hope that, for those who are listening to this, you have learned something for yourself. And we are looking forward to see you in more of our other episode. Okay, so this is episode 69. I'm Patricia, and I look forward to see all of you in our last remaining 30 episode at GrowCast show. Thank you.